Welcome to another test drive here on Ty Drives. I present to you the 2025 Audi Q7. Now this is a Premium Plus trim with the black optic package, executive package, and this is also a 45 model. It means it has the turbocharged 4-cylinder under the hood. So let's see what this is. Let's see what this drives like. We'll give you a quick overview of the exterior, kind of see what the styling changes are. Most of them are in the front with the grille and the headlights, new wheels, slightly redesigned taillights. But let's take a look inside the trunk here. Q7 is Audi's 3-row crossover, so a little bit of space behind the 3rd-row seats, and as you can see, even more behind the 2nd-row seats. And the 2nd row is very customizable in the fact that you could fold down any seat you want, move forward and back any seat you want, so it's really nice. And the 3rd-row seats are also power folding, so that's pretty cool. Let's see if we can get the dealer plate in one shot with this little flappy thing here. There it is. Now the big news for me, at least, look at that. Do you see what I see? Real exhaust tips on an Audi. That is awesome. You know, they've always been known for, except for on the S models and the RS models, they've always put fake exhaust tips, but finally we're starting to get some real ones. In the back here, plenty of space. We have a sunshade, 17 speaker Bang & Olufsen sound system on the Premium Plus model, 4-zone climate control too. You've got a dedicated climate control screen back here, and very nice and roomy rear seats back here. Big panoramic roof. Again, if you're interested in any of the features and whatnot on this car, please check my channel because we have a dedicated features review on this very car. Imagine that. But let's get it out for a drive. Got a pretty nice looking key. Audi's typical very in-your-face welcome sound. And safety first, always put your seatbelt on. Now let's get this set up here so we could have the drive modes up. So we are going to be changing them a little bit, so we're going to put it in comfort mode for now. Now, as you can see in here, it's pretty familiar. 2023, 2024 Q7s are gonna look exactly like this inside. However, they made a few different tweaks with that screen and that screen. So make sure you kind of check out our other channels so you could see what is different. But let's get this thing out on the road. And let's also turn our auto start stop off here. So now throughout the test drive, we're going to kind of put it through its paces a little bit. We have a more of a kind of main road, so we'll get it up to some higher speeds. And then we also have a back road where we're getting an acceleration test. I'm really excited to see how this turbocharged 4-cylinder does in this kind of larger SUV. And we'll also, that back road also contains a pretty not the best taken care of road, so we'll get a suspension test, and we'll also touch on how it handles a little bit too. So by the end of this video, you'll get a really good idea on how it drives. And if you check out the other video that I posted, and there will be a link to it at the end of this video, you'll get a really good idea on all the features that it has. So the complete package here on Ty Drives. Alright, so let's hit the main road first, and that'll lead us to the back road. So first impressions, the 4-cylinder is actually really quiet in this car, and comfort mode definitely dials back the throttle response. I was having to put my foot down quite a bit to get us to go there, but it'll definitely sharpen up in dynamic mode. So yeah, definitely a very quiet 4-cylinder. I have driven a Q7 with the turbocharged 4 in it before, so this will kind of be a reminder for me, but maybe it's the first time for you guys. Quattro all-wheel drive comes standard, and we also have an 8-speed automatic transmission. Now this turbocharged 4-cylinder is very torquey at the lower RPMs, so when we're not in dynamic mode, pay attention to that tachometer. It stays nice and low, and it would rather spool up the turbo than change up the gears, which is a nice thing. The steering is also very light in comfort mode, which is what you want. Now on the Q7s and Q8s, it's historically been a pretty heavy steering setup. So once we switch it over to dynamic, I guess we'll see. And we are going to do that right now. We're going to put it into dynamic. That'll sharpen up our throttle response, and also put the transmission into a sport mode as well. If traffic allows us, we will do an acceleration test from a dig, so 0 miles per hour, or if there is traffic behind us, you know, we'll just kind of do a rolling start. So let's see. Turning onto our back road, we might be lucky here. We might be able to do an acceleration from a dig. Looks like we're clear. Let's stop quickly. And here we go. So this turbocharged 4-cylinder is just fine for the Q7. It really does have plenty of power for around town and your subtle accelerations for getting onto the highway, things like that. That's kind of what this test mimics, is a you know, highway entrance. There are a lot of highway entrances around here in Connecticut that you have to stop and then merge into traffic, so that's definitely a valid test. But yeah, the turbocharged 4-cylinder in this Q7, what they call the 45 engine, is just fine. It's 261 horsepower, 273 pound-feet of torque, so it's got plenty of power. It does have some weight because this Q7 is just a little bit of a larger SUV. But my suggestion to you is, if you're tossing back and forth between the 45 or the 55 model, which is the 4-cylinder, or the V6, just go out to your local dealership and test drive them. You know, without a doubt, the V6 has more power. And this still does 0 to 60 in the mid 6-second range, which is plenty for most people. The 6-cylinder does 0 to 60 in the mid 5-second range, so you're about a second quicker. But definitely enough power with this Turbo 4. Now, just putting my senses out there, using my ears and my feelings, this is a pretty rough road. But the Q7 does a tremendous job of soaking up all the bumps. That's not the most comfortable suspension in the world, but it definitely is solid. It is solid as a rock, the feeling of this car. It's also got tremendous interior noise insulation. You don't hear anything outside. You don't hear any wind noise. You barely hear any tire noise. The engine noise is kept out of the cabin. It's just a very calming car to drive. You know, so it rides nice, not very noisy on the inside. So and the steering definitely does weighten up in dynamic. It's still pretty light, lighter than I remember in any of the Q7s before this. So they must have made a little tweak to lighten up the steering in this Q7 for the 2025 model year. But just an easy car to drive. One of the things that's new in this Q7 on the interior, at least, is the driver's assistance screen. So that's pretty neat. I actually haven't seen it while driving, so that's pretty cool. It actually picks up the lines on the road when it can, so that's pretty neat. Let's do a full screen there. That is very neat. It even shows the curves in the road. It shows what kind of lines you're at. So that is pretty cool, kind of how close you are to the lines in the road. So that's a pretty cool visual, and it even shows up your brake lights and turn signals. Just a little party trick there. You can see we also have the speed limit sign down below, which is nice on your driver's assistance screen. And this really does do a pretty decent job of kind of judging where the curves are going to be. That is pretty neat. Definitely like that new driver's information display there. But that pretty much rounds out our test drive. I hope you have a pretty good idea on how this Q7 drives without actually driving it yourself. I also hope you stick with us here at Ty Drives for more videos just like this one in the future. Thanks a lot for watching.